Okay, Baruch Hashem, let's begin. Be'ez Hashem, Perek Vav. Welcome to our new members. Baruch Hashem, Perek Vav. Okay, so Rabbi said like this. Let's try to summarize just for a moment where we've been holding. I'd like to try and finish the Perek just today, which will be Geshmak. It's an interesting Perek. It's not so, we should be able to manage it. We talked about it until now, the Tzvai Neshamas, the two Neshamas that every Yid has, the Nefesh Elokis, Nefesh Bahamis. We've been speaking about the Nefesh Elokis, that having all of the 10 spheres and the 3 levushim as well, the Ava V'yira, then everything that goes together with that as well. We spoke about the garments of the soul. We spoke about Torah, which is connected Kulam. Now we're going to go to the Nefesh Bahamis, which is the Nefesh HaKlipa, which we'll explain, that also has tremendous amount of koiches, the 10 koiches, and the 10 levushim as well. So we're now going to go through Be'ika, the Nefesh Bahamis, and how it applies to everything we've said until now. Zuk Heilige Tanya, Perek Vav, V'hine, Zeh le'umas zeh osa lekim. That means the Rabbeinu Shalom created in everything in parallel worlds. Everything that has Kedusha also has tremendous Tumah. Everything Zeh le'umas zeh. As he says, just like we previously explained, that the Nefesh Elokis is included with it, the Esses Spheres, which is Kodesh, Kedusha, and it's also, so to speak, garmented, right, or clothed with Machshava, Dibur, Maisa, the 3 Levushim Kedoshim, which is all coming from a very holy Kodesh Dikamokim. Kach, so too, ha-nefesh the sitra acha. He calls it the nefesh the sitra acha. The nefesh sitra acha, as he's going to explain, comes from the under the platz. Comes from not the kodesh dika platz. Comes from the other one, and that's where with this nefesh Bahamis is coming from over here. Coming from the Sitra Acha, from the other side, right? Something that's not from the side of Hashem. Miklipas Noiga, something we've mentioned also previously, that it comes from the Klipas Noiga. We explained what that was. That has also a little good in it as well. Hamulubeshes Badamo Odom, Klula Me'ese Kisrin de Misavusa, which is clothed in the blood of a person, which is from the 10 crowns of impurity. That's how the Zohar Kodesh calls it, the Kisrin to Masavusa. That's how the Zohar states in Zohar Kodesh. Shehin Sheva Midos Royes, Habois Ma'arbi Yisodos Royim Hanal. We've explained this previously. Right, everything comes from the 4 Yesodos, right? You've got the earth and the wind and the fire, whatever, right? We've explained that previously, and we've got the 7 Midas Royes, the emotions that we have in our character traits and everything else. So what we're saying over here is that the Nefesh Bahamis is very similar in its components to the Nefesh Elokis. The difference is the emotions of the Nefesh Elokis needs reflections. We mentioned that previously. And without those reflections, you don't have anything. The Nefesh Bahamis, at the end of the day, is naturally a behemoth. It's nothing. It's pure behemoth-like. And therefore, that's the nature of it. Which means, unless you make a positive effort to turn it into something Kedusha, it is not going to be Kadosh. It can be. It can have a shaykh to that, as we'll get to. But you have to train it to do that. The Seichel, Hamalidon, Hanechlak l'sholosh, right, and the seichel that produces from the 3 Chochma, Bina, V'das, Makor Midas, as we explained previously. We have Ava and Yira, which is everything is Ava or Yira. But in order to have Ava and Yira, you have to have what we call Chabad, Chochma, Bina, V'das, because everything starts in the head. Everything begins in the Rosh. Everything starts on the head, which is Chochma, Bina, V'das, and it comes from Machshava, from contemplation, from understanding, from Seichel. Ki hamidois henefi erech ha-seichel. Because the midas, the character traits, the emotions that we have and that we run our lives with, come from the Seichel. Right? And just as a simple example, when a person gets angry, he gets all agitated, he gets upset, he gets angry, he wants to do revenge, he wants to hurt someone, it all starts in the head. That's when it all begins. Everything begins, that's why when you have a shower, you're meant to wash your head first, because that's the Rosh Shalai Kol Eivorim. Everything begins in the head and goes down. Ki hakoton choshek, v'oyev dvarim ktanim, b'chusei ha'irech, lefi she'asichloi koton v'koton lahasei dvarim yikom yosem mehem, v'chein miskatzim miskatzev, mit dvarim ktanim, v'chein misobes o shamides. He basically says that according to a person's seichel is what he wants. So for example, let's take an easy example, take a child. A child wants a lollipop. Right? That's all a kid wants, a lollipop, give me a toy car. Little kid. Because that's all their seichel understands. They don't understand, what do you mean? I want a fancy laptop. I want a flight to somewhere nice. They don't understand those things. They only understand small things. Maybe they work that way. So he says the same thing. If your seichel is small, then the midas that follow afterwards, the character traits, are also going to be small. They're not going to be gross. These 10 bechinas, which are Tomei, when a person, again, machshava, dibur, maisa, all three, when you're either thinking about them, or speak about them, or do them, have a machshavdoi shebemoiche v'diburi shebepiv, v'koyach ha'maisi shebeyadav, or shaiverv, all of these things come together, nikroim levushe misavu. Right, that's what we said from the Zohar Kodesh. In other words, now it becomes the vehicle for that specific tumah. We'll explain. This is everything and every action, dibur machshava, that you do in the world. The Zohar says, Shem teviru derucha, this destruction of the spirit. Basically, what the Tanya is telling us is a Gavaldig Yesod. And he's telling us, that every single thing that we do in this world, every action, every machshava, and every speech is split into three things. Number one, things that we're chayiv to do, we're obligated to do. Number two, the things we're not allowed to do, the asa. And then the natural things, the power of things, right? In other words, things in the middle, right? Things that are not necessarily I'm chayiv to do, I'm not obligated to do it, but things that are not asa, like shopping. Shopping is a chayiv? No. It's not issa. So it's in between, it's like parav. The Tanya holds that number three is not parav. There's no such thing as in the middle. There's no such thing. By the way, the Chovis Halavava says the same thing in Shavod Yisraelim. Also a similar idea as well. The Chovis Halavava says there's no middle. It's either asa or it's mutter. So the Tanya, everything you think, say, or do, everything is either mutter or asa. There's no such thing as a devarishus. There's nothing that's parav. It doesn't work that way, right? Those of you that know, the Rambam says that everything you do, if you have kavanah, you can change everything you do. For example, the Rambam says, before you go to sleep, if you say, I'm going to sleep to have kavanah, that tomorrow I'm going to have azar, voidus Hashem, I'm going to daven, I'm going to learn, it's going to be gavaldik. Your whole sleep is a mitzvah. If I'm about to eat dinner, I have kavanah that my dinner is giving me koyach for night seder, so your whole dinner is a mitzvah. So what the Tanya is telling us that everything we do falls under the category of either mutter or asa. There's no in between. V'chein, kol hadiburim v'chol ha'machshavos sheloi laHashem, anything that's any machshava, dibur, whatever, that's not for Hashem or His ratzon or avodah, shezeh perish lashon sitra acha. That means it comes from the other side. Again, this is nefesh habahamis. Perish. What does that mean? Sitra acha. What does that mean? Sitra acha. Perish. Tzada acha she'ein tzada kedusha. It does not come from a kodesh to kamokim. But tzada kedusha eina ela hashua v'hamshacha mekadusha tzada kodesh baruch hu. And the tzada kedusha is only from Hashem. Ve'eina kodesh baruch hu shora ela al dover shebatel etzlo yisbarach. And the Rebbeinu Shalom is only by something which is bottled to Him. Bein b'per mamish k'malachim al yonim, like malachim that are completely bottled to the Rebbeinu Shalom. Bein b'koyach k'chol ish Yisrael. Or for example, something like a human being. Lemata, down over here, that wants to give over his life and do avodas Hashem and serve Hashem in that way. Whether it's a malach that's bottled completely, or a human being that lives his life in bittul Hashem. V'lachein. That's pshat in the Gemara in Brachos. The Gemara says in Brachos, even if you have one yid that's singing the Beis Medrash by himself when he's learning Torah, the Shechina is right there. How's it shaykh? The answer is he's been mevatel himself to Hashem. When you mevatel yourself to Hashem, you come from the Tzaddik Kedusha and the Rebbeinu Shalom Yeshaya. V'chol b'yasor yishkin shari lo'olam. Aval. Something that's not it's a bottle to Hashem and it's a separate thing on its own. It does not get chiyus, life, sustenance, source from Hashem. Ella, where does it get it from? That means everything in the world, every created item, everything in this creation gets source from Hashem. There's nothing in the world that's created that doesn't get its source from Hashem. Not shaykh. The difference is things that are on the tzad of Kedusha get from Ponav. They get from, so to speak, Kaviyachol, the front of Hashem, the face of Hashem. That which comes from the other side, the not Kodesh, right? Not the Kodesh side, that gets from the back of Hashem. As I state, that means it's gone down all the chains, it's been diluted and diluted and diluted. But Tzimtzum Rabim, right? It's been diminished and diminished and diminished until Shinismayit Kol Kacha Ovech is Miet Achamiyut Ad Shiyachol is Amtzein or Islav Shin is Gola Toich Oisadova Nifer Lach Oisadchiyomei Mein Yesh Shaliaksav Lios Ayin V'Efes Kevach Tchila Koidem Sheniva. That means the creation of the world is a continuous process. The Rabbeinu Shalom is constantly, the whole time, re-energizing the world. That's the Metzias in that case. The problem is, how does the Rabbeinu Shalom re-energize evil? How does he do that? The answer is what we say, what the Tanya is saying, that Avada, there's Hashem's energy in the evil, in the Ra that's in the world. But it's in such a diminished, diluted form that it's almost not recognizable, it's almost not there, but it's there just for the tiniest amount, just to keep it going. That's the mitzvah. Lochein, so the Tanya, therefore, that's why the world and the contents within it are called the olam haklipos, the sitra acha v'lochein. Kol ma'isa olam hazeh kosher v'roim rashayin goyim boy. K'ma shekos beitz chaim shama beisof perik dalet ella. Sha'klipos say nechlokos l'shtei madregas zu lemata mezu. The klipas are split up into two madregas, one on top of the other. Hamadrega tachtoni hi sholish klipas atmeas, right? V'gami ve'im b'em shum tov klal. These are madregas that are so tomei, there is nothing good about them b'chlal. V'niku b'markeves yecheskel ruach sa'or b'onen gadol. U'mehem nishbois v'mishachos nafshos kol umas oilim b'kim gufam. And from there, we've spoken about this right in the beginning, this is where all the goyim get their, so to speak, their chiyas from. They get their kiyum gufam from a mokim that's got no toiv whatsoever. We said in the beginning, there are goyim that do good things. But again, it's for themselves. As I stated in the time, that's what he told us. The nafsho is kol balechayim hatameim v'asur b'achila v'kim gufam. Also, animals that are not kosher to eat, right? Treifa animals, tomei animals, things like that, also come from where? From this side. V'kim v'chiyas kol ma'achos asur matamerach k'mei orla v'glai kerem. Again, what is the purpose of orla? But Orla cannot have any hanor whatsoever. What is the purpose of Orla? Where does it come from? The answer is that these are the things that come from the klippas that are so tough, we can't even open them. That's why it's called the klippa. Klippa is a shell. We explained it in the beginning. It's a shell. Very hard to open those shells. These things are so heavily klippaed that it's not shy to go inside them. These are the tomei animals. These are the goyim. That's what it is. As well. That means, as we said at the end of Perek Hey, that also any Isurim as well included in that. So what he's done over here in this Perek, and we finish Baruch Hashem Perek Vov, and we'll talk about it, we'll understand why he did this when we get to Perek Zion, is he split everything up. And the main nukuda is everything we do, every dibur, machshava, or maisa, is spread into asa or muta. When it has a tzoyrich ta'avodas Hashem, it comes to the Mokem HaKadusha. When it comes not from that, so it's from the Sitra Acha, right? That's the Nefesh HaBahamis, which means it comes from the other side. And yes, there is a Koyach of Hashem fueling it, because obviously the Rabbanim supposed to fuel everything, but it's very diminished and very diluted. Be'ez Hashem B'siyat Shmaya tomorrow, join us for Perek Zion.